Let me call you sweetheart. I'm in love with you.
Welcome to the B-List,
where we talk about everything we love to hate.
and everything that we hate to love.
I'm Tara.
I'm Courtney.
Last week we did a pretty angry edition where we were just kind of bitching about everything that bothered us, and that kind of led us into this week's topic, which is red flags.
Red flags.
And fuckboy behavior.
Yeah.
And just, it just got me on a rant. So,
Yeah.
So here we are, you guys.
Here we are. We're going to talk about this today. Now, anything that we talk about today is non-gender specific as well as non-sexual orientation specific.
This definitely goes for everybody.
This is everybody. These are red flags that not only would you look out for like in a relationship, but also friendships too, you know.
Definitely.
It's
Definitely.
It's just I've seen so many of my friends just get dragged through, you know, whatever shit that they pull them through.
I mean, alone you've seen me in like several bad relationships.
Well, this is what makes us the expert, because
she's watched it all and studied it, and I've actually had to live through it. So.
Yeah, exactly. So let's get into our red flags right there. Now, if you're watching here on YouTube, you see that we've got plenty of red flags behind us,
like
and we're
Chairman Mao should be behind us.
Right. It probably is. I'm probably broadcasting something very communist right now, but
you know what?
But today the red flags are just for those of you that need help identifying them.
Yes.
So I guess right now, what do we define a fuckboy as?
Okay, so here's the deal, you guys. I got two different definitions from the internet because I studied hard. And one of them is from Google. And it says, in essence, a fuckboy, sometimes it has different spellings. Sometimes fuckboy with an I, fuckboy with two C's, however you want to spell it, is usually, I don't agree with this, we just talked about it, is a straight white dude embodying something akin to a man whore label, mashed up with some basic qualities, and as a light to heavily sprinkling of misogyny. I can agree with that.
I can agree with that, yes.
I can agree with that.
But I don't agree.
Then it says, but consensus on a singular definition is a work in progress. So, like,
right.
it changes.
Right, because I've known plenty of non-white fuckboys.
Yes.
I don't think it's gender specific. Fuck girls too.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
But then I looked at the Urban Dictionary.
Well, that's probably more accurate.
That's where you go if you want the real information. And it says, a guy who will tell a girl anything to get them to hook up with them. A complete jerk who flirts with multiple girls at a time and makes them all believe they're individually special. They tell a girl they like them and act as if they're in love so they can get something out of it, like pictures, hooking up, sex, etc. Someone who should not be trusted and is the reason for a lot of people's trust issues. Don't fuck with a fuckboy. I can agree with all of that.
But again, there are plenty of fuck girls out there too that do the same thing, just as people. Manipulative. Yeah, fuck people.
Fuck humans. Fuck Homo sapiens.
We're a horrible species.
We really are.
So, what is generally, in your dating experience, one of the biggest red flags, like Nascar Crash? Waving that thing.
For me, I get really uncomfortable when it's like when you first meet someone and they are just like constantly complimenting you and telling you how amazing you are, and like, not that you don't want some of that, but when they're like immediately head over heels in love after like, and then they're like, we should live together, we should get married, we should be engaged.
That's like, one of the ones. That's one of the ones that I move. I wrote down whenever they just move things way too fast, like automatically start telling you we're soulmates. Yes. We should move in together, and it's been about 30 minutes.
Yeah. On our dating podcast that we did a while back for Valentine's Day, there was a guy specifically who had been like, I was someone who was like, he had a fiance and I didn't know about it or whatever. And he'd been dating other people also. But also just telling me, and it gave me those like red flag tinglies, like my spidey senses were tingling from the beginning, because he was like, after the second date, he's like, I think I could fall in love with you. I'm like, whoa, man. Like, you need to slow down.
Right.
And he's like, I can't help how I feel.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, I don't think any dude is big enough to be in love with like 5 women at one time.
No kidding. And you know what? That brings me to another one of my points too, is that if you do find out that this person is in a committed relationship with like a spouse or fiance or even a long-term
Yeah.
girlfriend or boyfriend,
Yeah.
long-term relationship,
Relationship.
you can't count on that person to leave that person, because why haven't they done it already?
Yes,
if
so
you're
many times you see girls that are like, but he loves me.
He loves me, and he says he's going to leave her any day now. He's not going
No,
to.
he's not.
Or she won't. Or
I have friends that are in that position right now,
Uh-huh.
actually, who are like, their man is just stuck in a bad situation, and like,
yeah, it's never
hang on for years. Like,
Yeah.
dude, he's not leaving her. Like, because you've made it pretty clear that
Mhm.
you're okay with it.
Yeah, and also that brings me to another point though too, is if they do leave that other person for you and you were the other person, the other woman or the other boy, then
You're gonna get left for someone
eventually,
else.
eventually they're going to do that to you.
That's, I mean,
And
yeah.
I've seen that happen in
And then they act all surprised. I can't believe he left
Well,
me.
and the thing is, they'll fall into the same pattern and find
Yeah.
another person that, oh, well, they're married, but they're going to leave their spouse at any point because they've been unhappy for years.
I mean, I do believe that there are some people out there that like monogamy relationships are just not for them, which is fine. Then just don't be in a relationship.
or find other like-minded individuals that are in the
That's
same
what I have a
way.
hard time with, is when people like keep getting into relationships, but they know for a fact that like you're not going to want to do this. I don't
Right.
know why you're doing this.
Right.
To just hurt people.
Right. Also, too, one of the big flags for me was always whenever they have these preconceived like notion of like their gender roles.
Yes.
Like,
you're going to be
this
my
is a
little
woman's
woman.
place.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be in heels when I get home from
Right.
work, and the dinner's
Yeah.
gonna be on the table, and
Like,
then
sir, no.
and
We all work here, so
right, and I've been getting along fine without you to this point, so I
Exactly.
don't need to depend on you.
It's just, and especially if, like, this is not 1950,
Mm-hmm.
And these men want to come in and be like, I'm the man. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And you're just going to be my cute little woman. Like, first of all, this is not 1960. You for sure can't pay all my bills. So I don't know why you're talking like you can.
Right. Right.
Like, the reason I feel like, because my aunt one time said that, like, it's so crazy to see women dating now, because, like, in my day, when my aunt was younger, like, you had to have a man to be able to survive. Like,
Right.
you had to find a man, because women, they weren't taught to get jobs. They weren't taught to take care of themselves. They were
Right.
taught to sit down and look pretty and find a man.
Learn how to cook a pot roast.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
and you know what, I also too, it's I would come across a lot of people a lot of men, because that's who I date, but they would downplay any accomplishment that I would talk about. Like, I know I haven't been in high school for years, but guess what, I made state, and they were like, oh really?
Yeah.
Well, guess what I did? And there was always a one-up story for everything that you did.
Exactly. Everything you do is like whatever, but then they did some amazing thing. I was actually listening to some podcast the other day. I can't remember what it was, but they were discussing William Hurt, the actor. And he's known for being difficult. That's not like
Right.
He dated like Marlee Matlin, the deaf woman that was in the actress. And she won an Academy Award, and he told her that doesn't mean anything. Like, there are people out there who really tried, and they just gave it to you.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
she just won your girlfriend just won an Oscar, and you're gonna tell her, nah.
Man, that's nothing.
Yeah.
Did he ever win an Oscar?
He won the year before.
Oh.
I think he was just
So he was probably just upset that,
that he didn't win again. Yeah.
Or that he has to share the same accomplishment
Exactly.
with his significant other.
With a woman.
Yeah.
Another thing for me is, and this is something that, like, I never really looked at before, but I do look at now. I don't know if you've ever dated someone who had, like, a really bad relationship with their family, or they didn't have a lot of friends.
Yes.
Because, like, one ex in particular, like, didn't get along with his family and had no friends. So, like, he was like, we were the friends. Like, you hang out with you guys.
Yeah.
And, like, when we split up, he's like, well, what about Courtney and Preston? I'm like, those are my friends. You gotta go find your own friends.
I could still be friends. He
He's like,
just kind of cut
I'll
himself
find
off.
nobody. I'll have nobody. Well, that's your own fault that you'll have nobody.
Yeah.
You should have made friends.
Yeah, and to piggyback off that too, they also compare your relationship on their past traumas.
Right, they bring all their old stuff
All
in.
the old stuff comes
Yeah.
with them, and they expect that, well, because this person acted this way before, you're going to do the same thing. And
Right.
nothing pisses me off faster than telling me how I'm going to react to something.
Oh, that makes me so mad.
Right?
That makes me so mad.
Right.
Like,
That, and whenever they tell you to relax and calm down, I blow my lid.
I'm
on
a
that.
redheaded Southern woman. Do not tell me to calm down.
Yeah.
I will jump up your butthole so
Yeah.
fast.
Well, it just feels like we're again, they're disregarding what we think is important. And whenever something happens that we think is important.
Well, it's like we all have past traumas, past bad relationships
Mhm.
and stuff like that. But like, I mean, you've been with Preston for like 20 years.
Mhm.
It's not like you guys get into an argument and you're like, well, my one boyfriend one time said this one thing.
This boyfriend I had three boyfriends before you.
Was mean to me once, and how dare you?
And how dare you?
Like, I don't think that anyone comes into a relationship with like a clean slate, but it should be pretty like this person has never done anything to me, so I'm not going to treat them like they have.
Like they have.
know?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
blaming your ex's past sins on somebody new is cruel.
I know you have this on your list too, but one of the things that I read was the social media aspect of it all.
Mhm.
Like either not having it or using it all the time and you're on it all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Constantly checking that DM folder to see
Constantly,
like who's
yeah.
in there.
Yeah, but then, but it's also like you just said, flag whenever they don't have anything, like not even a LinkedIn. You
Because
can't.
that's usually my go-to. Like once I start talking to someone, what's your
Yeah.
last name? And then you immediately Google.
Yeah,
Look it up on
you got to
Facebook,
do a
look it up on
background
Instagram.
check.
Yes, you look at everyone just to see.
Yeah, see
Yeah.
what kind of pictures, what kind of friends, what kind
Yeah,
of do
for sure.
do they talk to their family, all kind of that
Mhm.
kind of stuff. And I understand if they set things to private, but just the fact that when they don't have anything, and I'm not talking about you have to be. I mean, I'm horrible at social media. I'm not that active on it. But just to see that you have a presence, that your phone is linked to something.
Yeah, are you there?
Are you
Like,
there?
Do you exist in the
Yeah.
world?
Yeah. Do you have a friends list? Because if they only have a few on there, that's
Right.
also
If it's just like a profile picture and nothing, like,
And nothing
that doesn't
else.
tell me anything about
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Like, that's kind of scary.
yeah. Exactly. Also, if you ever get involved with anybody who is in an MLM
Oh god.
company,
Run. Just run.
just don't, because that proves that they're gullible, that they're probably scheming for another thing. And this goes for males and females both, is that the females will usually be selling, the makeup and the slim drinks. But I dated a dude for, a date or two, and on the second date, I think it was, he started trying to sell me Amway.
Oh, for the love of God.
And how long has that been around? But
Like
yeah,
Amway and Herbalife are like the top
Yeah,
two.
like, yeah, and he kept trying to get me to look at the
oh,
catalog,
sweetie,
and
that's not a real job.
I can get you 10% off. I can get you, your
That's-
first order is going to be 10% off. And I was
Yeah,
like,
and it's always people that like from high school you haven't talked to in like 20 years that are like,
Mhm.
hey girl, would you like to lose 20 pounds? Would you like this drink? Like, first of all, rude.
right,
You're calling me fat.
right.
Second of all, Tiffany or whatever. Like,
Yeah, you used to throw bugs in my hair.
you just
in
throw bugs
school.
in my hair. You're a stay-at-home mom. This is your life now,
This
bothering
is-
people on Facebook.
Yeah.
Please wait.
I don't want your jewelry that turns me green.
No.
I've tried that one too, just to appease a few people.
Another red flag is when they make you feel insecure. Like, you'll have all the confidence in the world before you start dating someone.
And then you
they're
second
like,
guess.
are you going to wear your hair like that?
Yeah,
Are you
yeah.
gonna
Is that
wear-
what you're
Is that
wearing?
what you're wearing?
Yeah, that's an immediately you're just off the table about
I
that.
dated someone once who, like, I'm always in jeans and a t-shirt usually because that's what's more comfortable for me and this weird lumpy body that I have. And he was like, I would love to see you like wear a dress or something like that. And then I would wear the dress and he'd be like, I don't know why you're wearing that. Like, because you fucking asked me to.
Because yeah, I was showing you what I look like in a dress. Is this not pleasing to you, kind sir?
And then you're just second guessing everything. And then like I would get so mad at myself because like I'm pretty cool. Like I was fine before I
Yeah.
started dating this
Yeah.
person. Like, how did they tear down my self-confidence and my self-worth in the matter of months? Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah. That's also some narcissistic behavior too, is telling people what to wear,
And trying to
when to
control
wear
them,
it,
yeah.
who you can hang out with, when you can hang out with, what clothes, or not clothes, but just like how you spend your money.
Yeah.
It's like, boy,
It's none of your business,
I
sir.
have, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not spending your money, so
Yeah.
why does it matter?
Yeah.
I mean, we have a mutual friend who's like that, who, there's a guy in her life that just is constantly tearing her down and telling her, like, I don't like any of your makeup. I don't like what you wear. You need to change everything about yourself.
Why?
And then I'll like you. Well, then go like someone
Then
else.
you don't like them. Then you're trying to mold something, what you perceive as, molding something out of clay that doesn't need to be reworked,
Well, and then you're mad at them because they're not the same person that they were when you first met them.
But
like,
no, they're always on their best behavior when you first meet them. A lot of these flags, unfortunately, come out when you've been out with them a few times.
You've had to date them for a while.
And it's hard to get out of a relationship once it starts rolling like that.
And it's hard too, like going back to like fuckboy behavior and all that kind of stuff, where like I've been in that situation and not even realizing. I just burped into the microphone. I apologize. I've been in a situation where you don't even realize that you've gotten into a situationship or a fuckboy situation until you're already there, and you're like, oh no, what did I do?
Uh-oh.
There was a guy once, I met him online, we chatted, he was funny, we had like good conversation, and against my better judgment, I was like, sure, come over and we'll hang out. And of course, we made the sexy times, and it was great. I was like, cool, we're gonna be dating now. We're gonna go on dates, and it's gonna be, it might lead to something, because he was really cool.
Right.
And immediately he was like not texting me as much and kind of disappearing. And then when we would text, he'd be like, well, we're not like together. Like I realized we're not in a relationship after like one night, but like I thought this was going to build towards something.
Like we like each other.
We
an
like each
awful
other
lot.
enough to see each other's genitals, Like I feel like that was something.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, I'm not really ready for a relationship, and I just kind of want like a friends with benefits thing. And I immediately was like, no, I'm not. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And I felt real dumb for having sex with them to begin with. But I was like, no. And this guy, I will give him something. He is persistent, because, I mean, the last time I heard from him was like a month and a half ago.
Okay.
I originally hooked up with this dude 6 years ago, like 5 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. Every once in a while, he'll text me, hey, hun. And I, to this day, don't fucking call me hun. I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's just condescending. But he would just check in. Just, how you doing? You doing all right? Like, yep, I'm fine. Or I'd be dating someone or whatever. And what if I was single? He'd be like, we sure did have fun together that one night. I was like, yeah, not fun enough though, apparently.
Yeah.
Because
looking for one more night.
Yeah. And I straight up told him, because he kept trying to like, well, if you ever change your mind, and if you ever change your mind. And I eventually had to be mean to him, which I'm unfortunately really good at. And I told him, like, look, I'm never going to lower my standards enough to do that again. So you can delete my number.
Yeah.
It's not changing my mind. It's like changing my self-worth and feeling lower than dirt. Well, I'll just sleep with you because I know that's all you want.
Yeah.
So, no, thank you.
Yeah.
And they're like, what? I thought we were friends.
Are we friends?
No, dude, I don't hook up with my friends. We've been friends for a long time.
We've never hooked up.
I've never hooked up with you.
Never.
Not
Maybe someday. Never say never.
I mean, Preston's got to die eventually.
And the man always dies first, so.
Sorry, Preston.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, honey.
He's not listening.
Another one too that you don't realize until you're kind of in deeper with them in a relationship is whenever they start to like rely on you for all of their healthcare needs, like their mental health. It all depends
where you have to like
you,
mommy them.
Where you have to mommy them, and
yes,
they never take charge of their own mental health.
That happened with one of my children's dads. It was that way, where like we first started dating, and I didn't realize it. What happened was my sister realized it before I even realized what I was doing. I thought it was sweet. I'm just like playing house and like, oh, I'll just clean his apartment. Oh, I'll just pay this bill for him. Oh, I'll just do this. And you think that you're building a relationship, and oh, you're just being like that sweet little wifey or whatever. And we went on vacation. My sister, my mom, and I went to Mexico. But I had to get up every morning and text him, so make sure that he was up for work.
Yeah. Like it's
And
your
my sister's
responsibility.
like, he's an adult. Why aren't you like? What did he do before you? And like, honestly, he was late to work a lot.
Yeah, it's a wonder that he kept a job for as long as he did.
Yes, and I'm like, why was I in charge of getting him up for work?
Yeah, the whole mommy thing. You don't
He's like,
want
you're
to.
so good at it. Like,
I bet being an adult.
because I'm a grown up and I can listen to an alarm that goes off and turn it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like can you go pick up my medication, or can you go, you call them, you handle it.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah.
Like, take care of your own things.
But at the same time, they expect you to predict and anticipate what they need right then too. Like
they're not going to tell you.
they're not going to tell you. There's no communication for it. It's just that you screwed up whenever they didn't get their needs met.
Oh, I can say this for sure that my own father, who does not listen to this podcast, is exactly like that with my mom at all times.
Yeah.
Like he was like that growing up. He would be like, he'd want your help with something like out in the garage and he's tinkering or whatever. And if you didn't know like you better have every fucking tool on hand ready to hand it to him, or light or whatever it is that he needs.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll just do it myself. Get out of the way.
Yeah,
like,
my dad was a little bit bad at that too. I was always having to help him work on the truck or something like that. And if I didn't have the flashlight in the exact place
yes.
where he needed it, instead of telling
jerk
me,
it out of your hand.
well,
Never
I
mind,
can't
I'll just do it
oh,
myself.
let me say, I put it in his mouth and try to hold everything. It's like, that's really easier than just telling me where you needed this.
And we used to be like so sad about like growing up, like, well, I guess I just messed up and blah, blah,
yeah.
blah. And now when my dad needs help and my mom goes out there and he's not very specific and communicates and tells her what he needs, then my mom's like, well, fucking do it yourself then. She'll just leave. Like, we don't get our feelings hurt anymore. It's like, whatever. Like,
well, yeah. And then also, on the flip side of that coin too, it's whenever you clearly communicate what you need from that person, whether it be, emotionally or physically or just, odds and ends here and there, and they disregard everything, even though you have, and then gaslight you to be like, well, you didn't tell me that. And it's
that
like,
happened in my last relationship where I told him, like, I need A, B, and C. Please, I need this.
Yes.
And he told me, when will you ever be secure enough with yourself where you don't need those things? Never, because I'm a human and I need things in a relationship.
And that goes with the gaslighting. Nah, you don't need that.
Yeah, and we would have arguments wherever I would be like, you're clearly manipulating me and I don't like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'm sorry you feel like you're being manipulated, but I'm not doing that. But if I feel manipulated, then you're manipulating.
Yeah. If I've done something that I wasn't planning on doing at your suggestion, that's manipulation.
That's manipulation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And alcohol and substance abuse. We talked about that before too. Like before the podcast, how we were like, a friend of mine had gone on a date and the date got shit-faced drunk and drove the wrong way on the highway and ended up falling asleep on top of her during sex. Like, that's a bad first date. That's a bad first date, and that's a big sign. If they can't, like, having a couple of drinks, getting loosened up. Yeah, so you're not so nervous. Getting the laughs going, but if they don't know when to stop, tipsy is one thing. Falling down, blackout, well, drunk to me, is another. It's like if they don't know their limits as far as like alcohol goes, where else do they not know their limits? What else are they going to do? Right. And you're willing to show that part of yourself that soon? That soon on a first date where you're like slobbery drunk. Right. Not a good look. Not attractive. Not attractive at all. Let me see in my notes here too. What else I've said? Oh, when they don't retain any information about you. Or don't even ask. Talk about themselves the whole time. Never ask about your own hobbies or interests. I have friendships like this where I'm like, I'm also doing okay. Yeah. Thank you for asking. Yeah. I'm also fine. But you'll tell them, the most heartfelt story about growing up. And then later, whenever you reference it, they're like, you never told me about that. It's like, yes, I have. It's one of the things that I talk about mostly on first dates. And, Yeah, the guy that I'm dating now, like, I talk constantly. And he's like, oh, I love hearing you talk. And I'm like, you're going to get sick of it. Eventually. I talk a lot. And he's like, no, I like hearing about you because then I know... what did he say? It was like the sweetest thing. He's like, I want to know as much as I can about you because then I know how to love you the right way. Which is like... That's a red flag. That's very insightful. That's a white flag. Or not a white flag. That's surrender. That's the checkered flag. Go. Green flag. Green flag. Green flag. Green flag. That's what I'm looking for. Like the white flag. He's black. Oh, difficult to rely on that person. Like they're constantly changing their plans. You're like, so are we going to have dinner at 8 tonight? Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe. Yeah. You go like days without hearing from them. An hour before. An hour before. So are we still going to go or... I've had that happen I don't know how many times.
I
don't
actually
know.
made plans with my friends. Like after you made plans with me, you went ahead and
And they get really upset. I'm one of those people, like, if we make plans and then you're being kind of like wishy-washy about it, I'll go make other plans.
yeah,
And then they get pissed off because you've made a plan.
yeah, because there's something else to do.
Like, dude, I asked you on Monday if we were having dinner on Friday, and you said you don't know. So now it is Friday, and I'm going out with
so
my
I
friends.
know that I'm not gonna go out with
Yes,
you.
yes.
So yeah.
Like, I do not want to just sit around.
Oh, and another thing too that, and this reminds me of another guy that I dated a long time ago. It's whenever they make a big show about doing kind things or showing acts of kindness,
Look what I did.
like giving to the homeless or tipping the wait staff really well,
Like,
or
just stuff you should just do.
bragging about the family that he bought winter coats for and everyone clapped kind of thing. It's like, and that's what they've just made themselves about, all the good works that they do. That to me, it's not a red flag that they're doing these things. It's great that they're doing these things, but it's the fact that, I don't know, kindness is something that's done humbly.
Yeah, when you brag about it, it kind of takes away.
When you brag about it and you're looking for the validation that comes from it,
Right.
then it's not really
Yeah.
truly a kind thing that you're doing it. You're doing it so everybody claps.
Right.
And
Another
that drives
thing,
me crazy.
Too, is just being like accepting your boundaries and accepting what you're, because I find this a lot, especially on first dates, where guys, like, they're really just trying to get it in. They're really
Yeah.
just trying to, like, they
Yeah.
really want to get laid. Like, they're really trying.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I like you, but I'm not really comfortable doing that on the first date. So can we
Right.
just, like, I kind of want to know you a little bit better.
Yeah.
Do that. And then all of a sudden you're a prude or you're a bitch or
Yeah.
like, how dare you?
Yeah. Because they
Like,
already expect something
That's
from you.
my boundary, and if you're not cool with that, then
Right.
bye.
Right. Also, too, when they have like no hobbies or interests, like nothing in their life.
I had a guy one time, we never went out, but we were like talking on a dating site or something. And, I was telling him, like, we're swapping, like, what kind of movies do you like? What kind of TV do you like? Blah, blah, blah. We got to music, and I was like, what kind of music do you listen to? And he said, I don't like music.
I don't like music.
You don't like music?
What?
Like, at all? Nothing?
Like not even elevator music whenever
Nothing,
you're
polka? Nothing?
Yeah, nothing. Is there?
He's like, really, I don't have time for it.
Yeah,
You don't have time for music? It's everywhere.
yeah, you can put music on while you're doing whatever you're doing. Yeah, that's a weird one to me.
I was
but,
like, okay, block.
yeah,
Wow.
but
Do you not have a soul, sir?
right? And it's
Even
those,
if it's like shitty music that I don't like, EDM or something, like, good for you.
yeah.
You have to like
You have
something.
an interest in something, but there's been people that I've been on dates with or just been talking to also that they're like, I don't really watch movies, I don't really watch TV, I'm not into cars, I'm not into sports, I'm not into video games, I'm not into music or anything like that.
okay,
It's like,
then
what are you into? Oh, I just, I go to work and come home. That's about what I do. It's like, you don't have any other interests, nothing at all. That's weird.
It's so weird. It's like, were you not a fully formed, developed human?
And
Like,
what that means,
some kind of pod person?
and that means is that person may have the tendency to latch onto you, like you're going to be my
The
entertainment
clinger who's gonna like cling to you and everything that
and
you like.
depend on everything.
There's some. It's a very nice time when like you get along with someone and you do have similar interests and stuff like that. But I don't expect anyone that I date to be totally into everything that I'm into.
Oh no.
I'm into some weird shit.
Yeah,
Like,
me
I don't
too.
expect you to want to be into everything.
Right.
Please have your own interests. Go watch the sports balls game or something.
Yeah,
you
that's
know? I don't care.
fine. That's fine. But just anything. Have your thing. Yeah, that's weird. And also, and this kind of goes with with almost having no hobbies. If a person that you're with only likes like one type of movie, like only into
Fast and
action,
Furious.
yeah, only into the action flicks like Fast and Furious,
Yeah.
or on the flip side, or if they're only into like the pretentious indie
Artsy
films and all that kind of stuff, and that's all that they watch,
I mean, I dated someone who was super into movies, and he was always trying to show me these different movies. Like, this one won an Oscar, this one won an Oscar. Like, okay, but like, I like other stuff too. It doesn't
I
necessarily
like a
have
whole
to be.
variety.
Yes.
I can watch the Marvel
Sometimes
universe.
I
and then-
literally just want to be entertained. I don't need to
I
think
just
about the
need-
deeper meaning and cry later on about it. And,
Right. I just
you
need
know.
an hour and 20 minutes just to turn off for a little bit.
Yeah.
And you like this one guy that I had gone on a couple of dates with, and he was one of those that only like his favorite movies were like Point Break and Con Air. And then whenever I would mention any sort, the guy he had never seen The Three Amigos or Back to the Future,
That is a damn
or
shame.
any of Steve Martin's comedies. Like
That is a damn shame.
I know, because I love like movies like The Jerk and
Yes.
Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid is one of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, never saw a comedy, never, nothing. He was just only into those action
That's
flicks.
like when someone says they don't like comedy.
Right.
That's like I don't like music. Like, you don't want your insides to be tickled and feel funny.
Right. You
Like,
just,
that's
yeah, you want somebody else to be inappropriate for a little while so you don't have to be.
exactly.
Yeah, so that one was a weird
Like,
one.
don't tell me that scene in Step Brothers where like Will Ferrell's like sitting behind John C. Reilly or vice versa. That's
Yeah.
not hilarious.
Yeah,
because
no
that is
kidding.
funny.
No kidding.
Well, hello, Miss Lady.
Yeah.
Like, you need to laugh about something.
Yeah. I mean, how many times have we quoted Talladega Nights?
Oh my god. Anchorman
And
and
Anchorman.
Old School.
But yeah, when they're just into one subtype of an art form, and they're just, that's all that they're about. I couldn't believe that the guy was like, Con Air is one of my favorite ones, and I'm like, with Nick Cage, that one.
Although Nick Cage is coming out with that new movie.
That one looks
I
pretty
kinda wanna
funny.
see
It's got a
that.
perfect score on Rotten Tomatoes, so
Yeah,
it's
I'm
got to
gonna
be
have to-
good.
I'm gonna have to
We're gonna
see
have to
that.
see it. Yeah.
Sure. Shout out to Nick Cage if you're listening.
Shout out to Nick Cage. Hey, I love a good comeback story. So
Loved you in Valley Girl.
yeah, absolutely. We've been there since the beginning.
That
so
triangle chest hair you
yeah.
had.
Also, whenever they have like when they seem like just vengeful people, like every story,
They hate everyone. Everyone's done them wrong.
everyone's done them wrong. Everything is always someone else's fault, and their favorite stories that they laugh and tell, with great vigor. It's always about the time they got back at somebody, or got even with somebody, or got revenge on
Yeah, or
somebody.
beat someone's ass.
And they think
something
it's
like-
hilarious, and this is one of their greatest accomplishments. That's always like a huge red flag.
That goes into like talking bad about your exes.
Yeah, if all of their exes are quote unquote crazy,
They're all crazy. They're all bad.
they're all bad. Yeah,
I mean, clearly I'm not with my exes for a reason, but I'm not going to say that they're all crazy or they're all bad. Do I have some funny stories about them? Yes, but like I'm not constantly talking about how shitty they are and
Right.
how they're horrible people.
yeah. And there's everybody's got a little bit of crazy, if you'll excuse the term. Everybody's got a little bit of crazy in them. There's certain things that get our goat. There's
That's what I'm
other
saying.
things
Like
that
everyone has baggage. You just got to find the right person who has the matching luggage with you.
right.
You get the
And
right
and that's another thing too, is if they only talk about like their ex the entire time, it's like you're not over them. You don't need to be dating.
I had a guy one time, we went on one date, and he was talking about his ex the whole time. And I finally asked, so when did you guys split up?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, we're in the process of it. So you're not even split
So
up.
you're not even split up
They were still
yet.
sharing a house.
That's just, how do you go home and look that person in the eye
I don't know.
and say, oh, I've just been out on a date? I mean, I'm sure there are people that are fine with it while
It
they're living, but
happens.
I don't think personally, if I was still having to stay in the same person that I just broke up with.
That's when my ex-husband and I, when we split up, he kind of wanted to like we had to live together for a little while until he
Mm-hmm.
could move out. And he was like, no, you should go on dates. It's fine. I'm like, it's kind of weird though.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to go on a date and then come home to my baby daddy. Like,
Yeah.
that's weird.
Tell you all about it.
Hey, so I went on this date.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah. Also, when they're mean to service workers
Oh, I hate
on
that.
first dates,
Because we
and
are in
they're-
the service industry.
because we're in the service industry, and you know
I judge
what?
people on that.
I judge people on the way they talk to them, because sometimes it's most of the time it's unwarranted the way they speak to wait staff or hairstylists or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unwarranted, and they come out of the chute already knowing that they're going to hate everything about this experience, and that person is going to be at fault for everything.
I recently dated someone that you met, and we went to go have burgers one day, and we went to BurgerFi off of Beach Street up
Mhm.
there, and great little place for burgers. You can get whatever you want or whatever. And he ordered his specific way, got our food, sat down, and his had tomatoes on it. And I was like, well, or he wanted tomatoes, and I was like, well, take my tomatoes, it's fine. And then he realized that it had mayonnaise instead of mustard or whatever, and I was like, well, scrape it off and go ask them for some mustard.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, no, if I don't fix this, I'm gonna get really mad. So he took it back up there, whatever. And then like you have to go get your drink from like the little pushy machines or whatever, like, and pick the, one of those big ones, the digital ones that have like all the buttons. And they didn't have what he wanted, so he got a refund for his drink. And I was like, dude, just get water. Like, do you have to be a dick? Like, And he sat down. He's like, I bet you're pretty embarrassed. And I was like, I am.
Yeah.
I'm really embarrassed.
Yeah.
You can't just like eat this burger. Just slap some mustard on it. What difference does it make? Like,
Yeah.
that just bothers me.
Adult. Well,
Like if you ordered a steak and someone gives you like chicken fingers, like yes, say
that's
something.
one thing.
But like,
but you know, it's also it's embarrassing and it's rude to just nitpick everything when it's not that big of a deal. I think it's
and I had paid for the meal. Like,
Yeah.
you didn't even pay for this burger. Just eat it. What difference does it make?
if this is the worst thing that happens to you
Yes.
today or
So we
these
just
weeks-
sat there in silence eating our burgers. So I was just so pissed. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I've been in that situation where like someone's sitting in my chair and they're like, "But can you do like this one little piece blonder?
Yeah.
Can you just cut like this one little hair?"
Yeah.
Like,
I want this little piece to layer in this way.
you're in the middle of cutting and they're like, is this how it's gonna be? Like, I'm not done.
I'm not
Let me
done
finish
yet.
My job.
Yeah. Yeah. But even that I can handle a little bit better whenever they just come out really rude. Like
Yes.
you remember one of the creepy customers that I used to have, the one that used to get the cap highlights?
Yep.
He was always like, the minute he would sit down, he would be like, I want
Just
it blonde. I want it like Daryl Hannah blonde. And I'm like, first of all, how old are you?
First of all, you're a 60-year-old man, so
Right.
you're
Yeah,
not-
he
you're not
was.
Daryl Hannah.
And I might have even mentioned him on the podcast before that had his mail order brides,
Yes.
that he would bring in somebody from another country
Yeah.
and they would not speak a lick of English. And he would be telling me how they wanted their hair done. And I'm
Yes,
like,
which is so creepy.
he had brought somebody in one time that I don't know what part of Africa she was from, but do you remember,
I remember
her?
her. She's so beautiful.
She was a gorgeous girl, and he was like, she wants to get some American highlights, and I said, well, what does that mean? He's
Didn't
like,
she have super short hair though?
it was kind of short. I mean, it was enough to foil her
Oh, okay.
highlights, but anyway, so he was like, well, she wants them lighter, but not too blonde, and so, you know, I went in for it, and then she would like speak to him. And I don't know how many languages he knew because I didn't understand. I don't know what language she was speaking.
Right.
And then it was almost like the Star Wars universe where anybody could talk to anybody
Right.
without translation. And then he'd look at me and he'd be like, she wants it a little lighter. And then I had to go back in and make it. But then after that, it was too light and I had to go back and tone it. And I was like, no. You know,
We're done. This is what she
we're
gets.
done. This is what she gets. But he was standing over the whole time going, no, she wants it like this, and she wants it, and then she'd whisper something to him, and I'm like, is this what she's saying? Or
Right.
is
Can we
this
use
what
Google Translate
you're
so I know what
saying?
she's saying? Because
Well,
I
this
don't
was-
trust
this was
you.
probably
Right,
before
before all that.
before
but
all that? I think I still had a flip phone at the time, but
I would not trust a man to tell someone how I wanted my hair done.
yeah, that's and what I kept wondering too was it his idea to make her look more Americanized
American
or
or
a little bit
whatever.
more Western, or I don't know what it was. She was a beautiful girl the way she was, but then like 2 weeks later he would bring in somebody else from I don't remember where she was from, but she was from the Middle East, and she came in for he always brought them in to get their hair done. And
That's like some creepy, like Christian Grey type, like.
right, almost. But then he settled, I guess, on one of these wives. It was that really pretty Chinese girl, but the same way, she didn't speak English either, but she was a whole lot nicer. She was just so appreciative of anything that I
Right,
did that
yeah.
she loved everything I did.
Oh, he's so
But the
creepy,
whole
though.
time, yeah, I was pretty convinced that the guy wanted to wear me as a coat
Yep.
because
You
he
had a couple
would.
clients like that.
I had a couple of them.
They would have been fighting over your pelt.
Right. Couple of woodsmen out there fighting over my skin.
Like, well, we don't have enough to make 2 coats. Let's just make a couple pairs of socks.
Matching vests, is that
Matching
cool?
vests, matching Courtney vests.
But yeah, and that was another one. If they show up with a lot of different mail order brides, and I always felt so bad for them too, because I always thought these girls that he's bringing over here to meet are probably in dire situations. I don't know
was
that
thinking,
for
like,
sure,
human
but
trafficking stuff. Like, is he just like getting them ready, prepared to sell?
is he grooming them for another
Well,
phase?
now,
or
like, you haven't been in the salon in a while, but now, like, they make you have, like, this, you know how you have to have, like, your license and,
Mhm.
like, if you want to, you know, complaint or whatever, and, like, all these different things you have to have hung up. You have to have one hung up for human trafficking also.
Oh,
Like,
really?
It's got the number on it if you need help, and
Oh,
it's
that's
got,
good.
like everything.
Yeah.
Like, just in case someone's coming in. I'm like, I'm a hairstylist. I am not a police officer.
Yeah.
I don't know how to, like, give me the wink if you need.
Yeah.
Are you being trafficked? All of us, like, our rooms are this big. Like, it's
Yeah.
not like.
Yeah.
Like, that man will be standing right there. I can't ask if you're being human
Right,
trafficked because
yeah.
he's right there.
Yeah, he's right there. Also, I can't trust anybody who doesn't like pets.
Yeah, anyone who's like, I don't like dogs.
Oh, I don't want. No, I don't want.
Some
any
people have a
pets.
preference, like, oh, I like cats or I like dogs better. But if you have like no preference, or
And
if,
you don't
or
like
if the-
anything.
the person you're going out with owns a lot of snakes.
Yeah, I can
That's
understand that. I actually dated somebody who had a 16-foot long albino python that he just let poop and lay around this house all over the place.
Nope, that's a red flag.
Yeah, so
Nope.
that was a red flag. I did not stay with him
No.
at all. But yeah, he was like, come to my apartment and see this thing.
Nope.
And I was like, no.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, I mean, I understand exotic, weird pets that can bite me and that kind of stuff.
Well,
I mean, I guess anything can bite me.
I've
but
dated a couple like fish guys that are really into their aquariums and stuff like that, and that's
Uh-huh.
cool. But
That's
like
fine.
some people who are not into pets and don't like animals, or their animal, you introduce them to your dog and your dog does not like them.
that's another thing too. Or if they just push my dog away from them all the time, I have
Can
to.
you go lock that dog up? Can you go put that dog
Yeah,
up?
put that dog up. No, my dog is been my best friend.
That's what I'm like. This dog is my life. So you
Yeah.
can be replaced. This dog cannot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I owe so much to my pets through this pandemic because they were
For
the
sure.
only things that kept me sane.
Oh yeah, when I was like going crazy talking to myself, she's
Yeah.
like, "Tell me
Yeah,
more.
tell me more. I'm listening.
I'm listening."
So yeah,
Yeah.
and that one's a big one for me. If they don't like pets, and especially if they don't like your pets or they don't like them, that's a big red flag.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
All right. Well, I hope you guys take all this to heart.
take it all to heart.
Look at your relationships. If you have any of these going on in relationships, you might want to rethink.
Might
have
want to
some-
think about it.
have some talks, because it's just when you get into a positive relationship, you'll be like, oh my god, why did I put up with so much
Why did I
crap?
settle for less? Yeah.
Why did I settle? Because that's not me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all you got, in all honesty, it often feels like time is running out. So a lot of people do end
They
up
get kind of
settling,
desperate and
get desperate, get a little bit depressed, and they think that one person is going to fix them themselves, and it's not. You can't.
like, being alone is totally fine.
Being alone is fine.
Getting to know yourself, getting to know what you like, what you don't like, it's way better than just settling for the wrong person and then you're stuck.
Mm-hmm.
No one wants to be stuck.
Because it's expensive to be unstuck.
It really is. I
Yeah.
can vouch for that.
Yeah. So, well, we hope you take what our little pearls of wisdom. I hope that you wear it around your neck proudly.
Yes. on her pearl
Because we love giving out pearl necklaces.
necklace. we love giving out pearl necklaces.
Oh no! Now
And-
we're going down a different path now.
And don't be a fuck boy.
Yeah,
If you
don't be a
are-
fuck
If you
boy.
are one,
Don't be a fuck
Hang
girl.
up your fuckwear. I don't
Yeah,
know.
just love and respect each other.
Yes.
And-
and we'll see you guys next time.
We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Be safe.
Let me call you